to do some bed math with the show you know. Calculate positive 4 plus negative 7 times negative 3 minus positive 5. So bed math, brackets, there aren't any to deal with. Exponents we don't have to deal with either. So we're dealing with multiplying and dividing left to right. That's the first thing to look for. So left to right, we've got to multiply here. And then that's it for multiplying and dividing. Last up is adding and subtracting left to right. So we've got adding, that's second, and subtracting is third. So first step, negative 7 times negative 3. Well, 7 times 3 is 21. Negative times a negative, remembering your rules, they're the same sign, which means it's a positive answer. So I'm just going to put that in brackets. When we're dealing with positive and negative, it's probably a good idea to always use brackets, even if it's positive, just as a reminder, and it keeps it cleaner in what you're writing. You'll know the difference between subtracting and negatives that way. So that's step one. Now, I've done one calculation for step one. I need to bring the rest of the equation down with it. So I'm going to put my plus 4 here, and it's still addition. I'm going to bring down my subtraction and my plus 5. Next step was the adding, so let's do that. 4 plus 21. Well, that's 25, positive. 4 plus 21 is 25. Again, I'm going to bring down the rest of my equation. So now I'm left with 25 minus 5. Those are both positives, so it's like adding and subtracting you've been doing for a long time. 25 minus 5 is equal to 20, or a positive 20. And that's your solution for that one. That one's pretty straightforward. The brackets aren't there, so it's not as confusing as it potentially could be. Let's take a look at the next one. B. We have some brackets here. Let's assess. So brackets come first, which means we ignore everything outside of the brackets and we reassess. So in here we've got subtracting and adding. There's no multiplying and dividing or any other brackets to worry about. So we're going to do these from left to right. Subtraction is first. Adding is second. That takes care of what's in the brackets. Now I can look at this division, and it's going to actually be the third process. So let's do that. Let's have a look here. So positive 5. I'm going to change it up with some color here. Positive 5, subtract 6. That's going to give you a negative 1. We can bring down the rest of it. And I'm going to keep my brackets going here. And then that's plus negative 7. So the pink shows you the calculation from above. Next up was the addition, so let's do that. Negative 1 plus negative 7. Now, you can think of that just on the side. You can flip your signs if you want. You can say, well, it's negative 1 minus positive 7. If this helps, you can do this. Just like you can say that subtracting is adding the opposite, you can say that adding is subtracting the opposite. So on a number line, if you're starting at negative 1 and then you're subtracting 7, it means you're moving to the left or it's getting more negative. So in this case, that means it's going to be negative 8. So we've done that calculation. I can bring down the rest of it. Negative 16 divided by, and now we're looking at negative 8. So once again, one last operation. 16 divided by 8 is 2. Negative divided by negative, same sign, which means it's going to be a positive answer. And so that's the solution. Positive 2. C, let's have a look at it. Again, brackets come first, which we do have some. There's only one operation in there, so we're going to start with that. That's step 1. No exponents to deal with. Multiply and divide comes next, so let's look from left to right. So there's a multiply here. That's step 2. And that's it for multiplying and dividing. Adding and subtracting is done last for anything that hasn't been touched, which would be this one here, the adding. So that's the order we're going to go in. Again, step 1, 5 plus negative 3. If you're not sure about that, try doing it where you're subtracting the opposite. So 5 minus a positive 3. Start at 5 on your number line and subtract 3. You're moving to your left, so that's going to be equal to positive 2. So this then becomes positive 2. Bring down the rest. So negative 2 times this bit plus negative 15. Next step was the multiplication, so let's do that. 2 times 2 is 4. Negative times a positive. The signs don't match, so the rule is that that means it's a negative answer. So it's negative 4. Bring down the rest of the equation. So bring down the adding of negative 15. Now, same idea as before. If this confuses you and you're not sure where to go, try flipping your signs. So this can become negative 4. Instead of adding, turn it to subtraction. And instead of a negative, make it a positive. So if you started with negative 4 on your number line and you're subtracting 15, again, you're moving to the left on your number line. So from negative 4, you're going to end up at negative 19. So that means that this is negative 19. And that is your show you know.